Hello, everyone. My name is Jamie G, and of course, you were watching Grindy Talk Season 2 here at the Boulder Channel. All right, and once again, welcome to Grindy Talk Season 2. Here we talk all about the trending stories, the latest happenings, and of course, important updates on relevant industries. And here you can catch us live, of course, on Kumu, that is at TBC, also on Facebook at TBC Plus and at Grindland TV. And not only that, we have our YouTube channel, that is, of course, the Boulder Channel. So thank you so much, guys, for tuning in with us today. Now, first and foremost, COVID-19 wreaked havoc on the restaurant industry, and recovery will take time. Now, the question in every chef's mind would be, what's a chef to do? So for today's episode of Grindy Talks, we have three phenomenal chefs who will share how will the food industry change after the COVID-19 pandemic. So, of course, our first guest is the corporate executive chef of the Bistro Group, who also runs his own restaurants, such as Savage, Helm, and Test Kitchen. Now, join me in welcoming Chef Josh Boutwood. Hi.
Hello, everyone. Hi. Hi, Jamie.
Yes, hello. Yes, hello, Chef Josh, and thank you so much for joining us today. And joining us as well, we have a chef and restaurateur partner at Guevara's and OK Cafe, co-author of Chef Laudico's and Flips Out. Co-author of Chef Laudico's Flips Out. Now, she is also a chef at Chef Laudico's Catering and F&B consultant, Chef Jackie Laudico.
Hi, Jamie. Good afternoon.
Yes. Hi, Chef Jackie. Thank you so much for joining us. And last, but certainly not the least, we have restaurant and consultant, television host, newspaper columnist, and author, Chef Sharwin T.
Hey, Jamie. Hey, everyone.
Yes, hello.
Hi.
And now, guys, we've got our three phenomenal chefs here, and our viewers would really like to know more about you. All of us are very intrigued, and we are very excited to know more about your insights and what's really happening with your industry right now. So we will start with asking you to briefly share with us one incident or, an item in your kitchen or somebody else's kitchen that made you decide to become a chef. So there. Let's start with Chef Josh.
It's difficult for me to answer that question because I was born in the trade. So I grew up with both parents having restaurants and hotels. So it was kind of, I would say it's in my blood, which is a very cliched thing to say. But when you grow up only knowing about restaurants and food, that's kind of what you're going to do for the rest of your life. There wasn't really a moment that sparked my interest in it. It was just growing up in the trade, really.
Yeah. Now, thank you for that, Chef Josh. Now, how about you, Chef Jackie?
I can fondly, because I love reading. I love books. And one day I chanced upon our bookshelf a recipe book. And so I started reading it. And it happened to be a Filipino cooking book. And I realized that, to make adobo, it's just toyo, vinegar, things that I know we have. So I started experimenting and playing around with it. And that's basically how I started. Although I've been baking since I was like 5 or 6, because
Yeah. Wow.
my grandmother loves to cook. She hosts mahjong parties in our house, and in
Mhm.
her house rather. And when you're the host of the mahjong, you get the tong. And I never learned how to play mahjong, but I learned how to make merienda. So that's how I
Yes,
started in the
yes.
kitchen.
That's nice. Thank you so much, Chef Jackie. And that's really nice to know now that you started at a very young age of 5 to be that curious when it comes to baking. And, the curiosity when it comes to cooking is there as well. Now, thank you for that, Chef
Yes.
Jackie. Now, what about you, Chef Sharwin?
I guess the first spark for me was watching this very old cooking show called Walk with Yan.
Mm.
So if you know
Same.
that, if
Mm.
you know that
Yes,
show,
yes, I
we're around the
recall.
same age. Um, but it
Sorry,
fascinated
I've
me
never
because
seen that.
I wouldn't be
You
surprised.
you didn't grow up here.
No, but I think it was something very curious to me, because during that time, if you wanted to be on TV, you had to either sing or act or dance, right? So to see
Exactly.
someone be on TV to cook and to get all of these people, like he had the live studio audience and everyone was watching him,
Uh-huh.
nobody was talking. And I'm like, if you can get a group of people to stop talking and just looking at cooking, then there's got to be something about cooking, and that's
Yes.
what got me interested in cooking.
Oh, I love that answer. But you know what? Every one of us have his or her own style when it comes to, being impressed with a certain show or, being influenced by a certain chef or cook. So now, what type of chef are you? Because, you know, all of you have different personalities and different personas. So, what do you think is the type of chef you are, and what's your culinary process like? I mean, do you have a preconditioning practice? Do you do your own rituals before before grinding? So, what do you think is your personality like? Let's start with Chef Josh.
Well, for me, I have multiple personalities in a way because of
Mm-hmm.
the stark contrast between the restaurants that I have. So Savage, for
Yeah.
example, it's very robust. It's very how would I say it? Mm, it's very to the core of cooking, which kind of means
Yeah.
that you have to have a very primal mentality when you're cooking inside Savage. Test Kitchen is very much evolved around sustainability and making sure that we get the best out of an ingredient every time it's in season. So you have to have a very forecast personality for that. And then Helm, on the other hand, Helm is such a small place, but it's very intricate when it comes to its cooking process. It's very methodical. It's very thoughtful. And then I have other mentalities. I have mentalities where I compete for
Yeah.
competitions, and that's a completely different mindset. Those pre-rituals for competing, it's having headphones on, having a very good song playing just before you go out, and you're going through the whole recipe in your head. Much like a
Mm-hmm.
race driver would go through the track inside their heads, we do the same in culinary competitions.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm very much schizophrenic when it comes to my kitchens. I have the luxury of changing my personality wherever I am or wherever I need to go, which is a great
Oh.
thing. Yeah.
I love that you mentioned you're schizophrenic when it comes to that. So you really have a lot of personalities. And
And
I
I don't
assume.
change my team
Mm,
members. So my team members for Test Kitchen know me as that persona, and then my team members in Savage know me as that persona, and they never change
uh-huh.
restaurants, so they never get confused. They never see the other side of me, which is a little more relaxed, for example, or a little bit
Uh-huh.
more upbeat. So yeah, it's keeping things
Mhm.
segregated in a way.
Yes, I love it. Thanks, Chef Josh. Now, how about you, Chef Jackie?
Um, I think I'm always, I call myself a student of life. I'm very
Hmm.
open to learning. I'm very curious. And whether it be going to markets, you know, when we travel, I would always, the first thing I will do is look for the hotel or the space or the Airbnb that's near a market. I always mark the market wherever I'm going because I want to see what people eat. And I get inspired with that. And I, in high places or in the most pedestrian places, I always get inspired and I always try to work from a position of love and curiosity and a position of positivity. So each and everything, I try to learn something. I try to apply it. I try to appreciate it, and you know that's how I am. I always take notes of how I can use this
Yes.
flavor. How can I use this texture? How can I use this color in what I do, in what I create, or even just the process. I try to learn as much as I can and do it, especially with my passion and advocacy on Filipino cuisine. That's how I always think, paano ko to ma-apply? How can I use this in Filipino cuisine? How is it similar? How is
Correct.
it different? All those things. So I'm always very curious. Maybe I'm like a cat. So I'm always nosy.
Yes.
I'm always nosy. I'm
Uh-huh.
always, I'm always open to learning. Yeah.
Yes.
That's
I love that, Chef Jackie. And you know what, the number one key ingredient when it comes to surviving in life is curiosity. You really have to be curious in so many things. And, and I also love the fact that you said that you also apply the love and the feelings there. So, yes, I love it so much. Thank you for that. And what about Chef Sharwin?
I think because of the kind of work that I do. So when I consult for restaurants or when I write books, or do my TV show, my main concern is always to relay the information. Right? I'm a
Yeah.
storyteller, so whatever kind of work I do, it's always me trying to explain something to someone else. So I think for me, the personality is always I'm trying to find out why, how it works, and for who, and
Mhm.
then I try to find the simplest terms um, to explain that
Yes.
thing, right? So I think that, like for example, when I do my cooking shows, when I write my recipes for the book, I always try to think in terms of, okay, I have no experience with this, so how can I tell someone to do this without being there to explain it? So that's why
Nice.
all of my food, all of my recipes are always generally simpler, easy to
Mhm.
understand. And then, yeah, it's the same way. When I write, I try to get people to experience what I experience. So I
Mhm.
don't just say it's good. I tell them how it makes me feel. I tell them, what how it looks like if I don't have a picture. So I'm more of kind of an
Oh,
explainer.
nice.
I guess that's the type of personality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice. And you know what? It takes a lot of intelligence to be an explainer. I mean, you do that so well. That's a really good talent that you got there, Chef Sharwin. Yes. But you know what, chefs, the pandemic happened and it's more than a year now. So do you think when we talk about, the restaurant industry or the food industry, do you think it's still on the verge of a nervous breakdown? Why or why not? Hmm. Let's start with Chef Josh.
Sorry, can you repeat that question? I was doing something on my phone.
Oops. Okay. I will repeat the
Thanks.
question.
Sorry,
But you know what?
everyone.
Like what I said earlier. Yeah, no worries, Chef Josh. But we're talking about the food industry. So do you think that having this pandemic, do you think that it is still on the verge of a nervous breakdown? Why or why not?
So, it's so hard to answer that question because I'm without casting shade on anybody or any organization. I'm not going to say which one, but I think we can all assume. Our industry, not just our industry. There's lots of industries that have been hit by the pandemic. Okay.
Right, right.
The concern for us is that we are in the business of socialization, coming togethers. We're
Yes.
we're experience based, and we create memories for people together. Togetherness, right? With the pandemic, it
Yes.
separated that that gathering aspect of dining out. And of course, with the current changes in regulations that we're seeing, every 2 weeks and so forth, and we never really know how to plan forward, it's a very challenging time to be in. I personally am on the verge of a nervous breakdown every 2 weeks, if that makes sense, because we just don't know what's going to happen. So what I've become accustomed to in a year plus of the coronavirus pandemic is I'm strategic planning every 2 weeks. I mean, it's all that we can do.
Right.
And trying to find the most positive outlooks on anything that is thrown our way, because there always is going to be positives. We just have to search for them. But the one thing that I would say to the multiple viewers that are watching, and to anyone who watches this in the future, is to honestly, the most that we can do as the general public, not talking about restaurateurs or chefs, is to follow the rules. So social distance, wear your mask, and clean your hands, etc., etc. Because the faster that we're able to slow it down, it will benefit not just our industry, which we badly need it to benefit, but multiple other industries in the country. So. Nervous breakdown, yes, I'm on the verge of it. I'm sure many other restaurateurs and chefs are also on the verge of it, but we'll get through it.
Yes.
We just have to find the positives in it.
Yes, perfectly said. Thanks, Chef Josh. Now let's proceed to Chef Jackie.
It's always difficult to plan, and you just have to accept that things change, and you just have to adapt. There are things that I just try to take it from the positive side, and just say that at least I'm in the food industry. People still eat, and if they want to eat better, they order from a restaurant. Eventually, they'll come back eating. Eventually, people will go back to socializing while eating in restaurants. Our first business is catering. It's almost, there's nothing right now. So there are no events. We don't want to do something that is not within the regulation, although I know some caterers still accept events at the moment, but I'm not in that. I don't believe in that. I have to turn down business at this very hard point. I always just think maybe there's less than half of the industry, half of the restaurants are open right now, and some barely open, but I don't know for how long. I just think at least there's lesser of us to compete when the market's back, when everything's there. Just think about that. If you try your best to stay open up until now, it's been more than a year, then for sure you will be blessed when things back to normal. And I just think, I just want to, always just say, be grateful for the positive movement. We never really thought of doing takeaways, but because that's the only game you can play at for the longest time, for almost like consistently for the past year. That's the only thing available for us. Takeaway, delivery. I think we've developed that market, so it will be an add-on, or even for some, the major line of business when things go back to normal. We've developed, websites where they can order our food, all those things. So, and partnerships and collaborations that we've never thought of working on before because we were too busy with dine-in. So I think
Exactly.
we were forced to do it. We appreciate what it can bring, and it's now an essential part of business. So, yeah, this pandemic taught us a lot to go online, to go delivery, and all those things. Yeah.
Yes, that is initially true. And I love what you said that, just look at the brighter side of life. it's all about adapting it to what is presented to you. And then, just look at the positivity of it and learning from that situation. So thank you, Chef Jackie. What about Chef Sharwin?
I have a slightly different perspective now because I currently don't
Mm-hmm.
run a restaurant. I was actually kind of um, fortunate because I was in the planning stage of opening
Yeah,
a
yeah,
restaurant,
yeah.
and then the pandemic happened. So I'm kind of
Okay.
fortunate in that way. Because I know a lot of friends who opened right before the pandemic started. So that's
Oh
really not an ideal
no.
situation. But for me, as a host, as a writer, um, there's this great shift of perspective. So, um, speaking of nervous breakdown, right? Like I think
Mm-hmm.
initially I was okay with it because I thought that it would pass, but it's been a year. Um, so now there's this
Mm-hmm.
growing apprehension in me, because I think that there are plenty of stories to tell outside, which is what I used to do. I used to move around a lot, talk to a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
um, because I can never forget what Aching Lilian Borromeo from Pampanga told me. Right, like she went around the past few years writing other people's recipes. Right, she was talking with other people, finding
Oh.
out about the recipes, putting it in the book, and she said that the problem is that there are hundreds of recipes that died with their owners, right? They never told anyone. Um, and so when they died, the recipes died with them. And she didn't want any more recipes to die with people, right? So she wanted to record everything. And
Mm-mm.
that really stuck with me
Yeah.
because when I do my show, when I write my books, I'm sharing other people's stories, right? So that it's forever in print. Somewhere along the line, somebody's going to
Yes.
see it. So now for me, there's
Mm.
this growing apprehension because if a lot of our restaurants start closing, and we're talking about those in the provinces, those small mom and pop shops, we may never
Mm-hmm.
get to. They may never get to tell their stories. And so that's the part that gives me the most apprehension. But personally, I'm lucky. I get to still do my work. Um, I actually
Yes.
released a book in the pandemic, so it's out now, right?
Nice.
But it's like the perspective changes, right? Because when I wrote that book, my intention was to launch it, right? Have this big party, launch, with everyone, like have cocktails and
The
everything.
typical, yeah.
But that's not even possible anymore, and nobody seems to want
Mm.
that anymore either. The perspective has changed, so we launched the book via Zoom, right? FB Live and Zoom. So
Nice.
that's kind of like that's the thing that I think the biggest thing is people's perspectives are different. Now, dine
Yeah.
in is such a luxury. They'd rather take
Mm-hmm.
the food out. There are more people interested in cooking at home. So that
Mm-hmm.
means that, what we do, which is to create shows on TV, we have to shift online, no? Because a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people are on their phones. They want to know how to,
Yes.
right? So there has to be that change, right? So yeah, so for me, I'm trying to adapt, right? I'm nervous in some places,
Yeah.
I'm confident in some places, but
Mm-hmm.
I totally believe in the Filipino spirit, right? So we're gonna be fine.
Yes. Yes, we're all gonna be fine. We just really have to, keep the faith stronger and just be resilient when it comes to our businesses. So maybe we go to another topic wherein we ask our three phenomenal chefs to share with us one or two sabaw moments during this pandemic. Now, Chef Josh might not be able to understand what sabaw means. Chef
I
Josh, do
was
you
I
know
was
the
just talking with all of my managers, asking them what does it mean by bowel moments. I'm like, guys, help me out here. So if
It's
you
a
wouldn't mind,
Filipino
I'd like
slang.
somebody else to answer first, and then I will get the gist of it and I'll go for it.
So go, chefs.
I'll
Let's
start. I'll
go.
start because this is really something that
Go.
happens. No, I really never thought that this would happen to me. Like you always think this happens to
Mm-hmm.
somebody else, right? But um, like there are moments when I'm creating these recipe videos for social media, and I'm actually cooking the dish. And then after I cook it,
Uh-huh.
I realize I never shot it. I never turned on the camera. I never. So like I have to do it again, right? And then there's just a
Oh, I
few of us
know.
in the house, so we have like mountains of food and nobody to eat. So it's like it messes with your staying at home, working from home,
Yes.
messes with your um, like you don't know what time it is, you don't know what day it is.
Mm.
Like the other day, I was cooking, and my mom walks down, and I'm like, why aren't you at work? And she's like, it's a holiday. And I'm like, what day is it today? It's like you lose all sense of time. So I'm trying to be more disciplined about it, like checking the calendar every day when I wake up, just to be more
Yes.
disciplined.
Uh-uh.
But and then trying to get a routine going, right? Like because when you work from home, you can work at 9 p.m., you can work at 1 a.m., right? So I'm trying to be disciplined about it
Exactly.
and work like
Am
nine
I
to
the only
five.
one who thinks Sharwin is trying to explain himself as a teenager right now?
Yeah, I was about to
You
say, just
can't
like
lie
my
to
kid.
these kids, Sharwin, okay? I see the
Yeah.
calendar on your door, okay? Don't,
I know
no,
there's a big
come on.
calendar there.
Don't do this.
I'm telling you, man.
Perennial teenager.
That's why that's there.
Oh,
Busted by Chef Josh. By Chef Josh. Do you already know what sabaw means? I
yeah, I
mean,
think
like,
so. I
do
mean,
you fully understand it?
well, to respond to Sharwin's Sabal moment, I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
was adamant because at the beginning of the pandemic, so many chefs were doing these YouTube or Facebook videos of them cooking with their family or with their kids, and I was like, I'm not doing it. Like if I'm going to be at home, so this is like the first 2 weeks, everyone was scared, right? So we closed the restaurants for that 2 weeks, and we're like,
Uh-huh.
I'm not going to waste my time cooking at home for everyone else's pleasure. I'm relaxing. I'm going to
Yes.
I'm going to sit down and just put my feet up. And before I knew it, my family, my kids, and everyone at home was like, they've never seen me at home so much that they didn't know what to do because I was there. I was apparently sitting in the wrong spot on the sofa. That was my daughter's spot. So I learned all of these things in 2 weeks. I had different places that I had to be and everything else like that. So after those first 2 weeks, I was like, no, I'm going back to work. I don't care if it's a lockdown. I need to get out of this house. So I started, doing ready to cook items at the restaurant. I can't say I've really had a sabao moment that I can remember, but I'm sure that I've had multiple that I've chosen not to remember. Does that answer it?
Yes, yes. Yes. Why is Chef Sharwin laughing?
He knows me. He knows how messy mind I am. There's hundreds of times that I've probably had a moment where I've made multiple mistakes, but I'm very good at covering
It's
my
better to
tracks.
forget. It's better to forget.
Yeah, better to forget.
Okay. Thank you for that, Chef Josh. Now, let us know the sabaw moments of Chef Jackie.
Well, for me, it was just everything, the delivery, the logistics of delivery
Mm-hmm.
is new. And so um, I think last year, it was the first peak day of delivery. It was during the lockdown, Mother's Day. Mostly people were closed. And so we didn't know that we've got way too many orders. And so,
Mm-hmm.
well, I knew that we had too many orders, but I forgot to turn off our food delivery partners, the third party delivery partners. And so we had our own group of riders, in-house riders, and we also had
Yes.
additional riders that day. And we didn't know that the a la carte is still live online with the third party deliveries. And
Oh
it's
no.
and it's like a Valentine's Day. It's a Valentine's dinner where you do a menu, and then someone comes, a group comes in ordering a la carte, it just went crazy. And the delivery guys were not, they couldn't go back as early as possible because there were lockdowns. It was a Sunday, and Mother's Day is always a Sunday.
Mhm.
But you don't
Yeah,
realize
yeah,
that because of the ECQ, I don't know what queue we were at that time. It was the first
yeah.
Mother's Day last year. That there were lockdowns everywhere. That our trucks and
Mhm.
our delivery vans couldn't get through. And it was a very learning experience. But eventually, of course, you learn. You ask for, you say sorry, you apologize for any delays from the
Mm-mm.
clients. Good thing no one was really. I think the good thing that this pandemic brought about is people were more forgiving and understanding because everyone is like
Yes,
struggling.
we need that. Yeah,
No
yeah,
one
yeah.
is very combatant at this point. I
Uh,
think they're more easy to handle than if it would have happened. Like an hour's delay the previous year would have cost
mhm.
you so much. But this time, people were more understanding that, the roads are closed, people can't get through,
Mhm.
all those things. There were checkpoints everywhere. So, yeah, so I think people were more understanding. So, yeah, that was crazy. And now, at least now we
Mhm.
know that for peak days, turn off the third party delivery system.
Lesson learned. But
Yeah,
yes, uh,
go offline first.
thank you for that. Mm-mm-mm-mm. But yes, thank you so much to our three cool chefs for sharing in their Sabal moments. And of course, for our viewers who are watching, more interesting talks with our collaborative chefs. So please stay and Grindy Talk Season 2 will be right back.
With PasaJob, di lang mag-apply ang pwede mong gawin. Pwede ka ring mag-refer ng friend for a chance to get paid. That's right! PasaJob rewards you for connecting employers to the right candidates. So apply, refer, get paid with PasaJob. Hassle maghanap ng trabaho, pero sa app na to, lagi kang panalo. Nakatulong ka na, may reward ka pa. Sali ka na! Download the app to pass a job, help a friend, get a reward.
All right, and we are back here at Grindy Talk Season 2 while we talk about, the recovery plans for the hospitality and restaurant industry. What positive points or aspects does this pandemic brought to your profession and your business? Okay, so let's start with Chef Josh.
To be honest, there's a lot of positives the pandemic has brought, and I was having a conversation with somebody just the other day. Without the pandemic, we wouldn't have innovated in a way that we have done pre-pandemic. There would have been no chance. We wouldn't have had the opportunity to think about innovating in a way. Never once had we ever thought about doing a ready-to-cook line in the restaurants. Never did we think about doing a specific takeout menu for the test kitchen. And
Yes.
never did we think about doing retail either. There's been so many
Mm.
learnings that I feel stronger as a restaurateur now because of the pandemic. And this goes back to our very first conversation, where I strongly suggest anyone who's having doubt at the moment, who might be worrying or so forth, we just need to find the positives in the problem. Because once we find that, there are so many advantages that we can grasp. Do we make? We don't, obviously. We don't make as much money as we did pre-pandemic. Our dine-in sales are dramatically off a cliff. But what we have done is we've subsidized it by doing all these separate programs, and it's working out beneficial for us. We keep a strong team working throughout the whole pandemic. We're able to make sure that food is on the table, roof is over our head, and it's all about positive thinking and realizing what advantages we can do during this pandemic for us.
Right, right. So thank you for that, Chef Josh. And we totally agree with what you said. What about Chef Jackie?
I think it aside of course from exploring the other markets as Josh and I earlier mentioned, I think it's about believing in your team. You've seen how strong, how loyal, how they are in adapting. And I think the ones who don't want to work it out already left. So I think it's a very cleansing experience. There are things also in the industry that um, like it's been too much of unessentials before. But this pandemic,
Yes.
because we're stuck at home, there's no ambiance. Your food comes in a box, so you go to basics, the basic values of food, and it's a matter of tasting
Yes.
great, good ingredients, value for money. Because what else can you do if your food is in a box and it comes through a delivery rider? So, there's no socializing, there's no ambiance to talk with, there's no.
Yes.
So, another thing is we also did a lot of Zoom cooking demos. And I realized that
Nice.
the the relationships formed during these corporate events, it's usually the corporations who contracts us for this. The
Mhm.
relationship with the people who watched you, who joined it, are they last longer because you eventually, up until now, after a few months, you still interact together in social media or in other forms. They still viber you, they still. So
Mhm.
the relationships formed are more lasting. Maybe it's virtual.
Mhm.
But I haven't had as much relationship with the live audience before that lasts longer than the actual show. Usually it's just,
Mhm.
after that you say hi and maybe they take some pictures, there's some tasting, and
And
after
then
that,
yeah.
that's it. Yeah, or
Yeah, yeah,
maybe
yeah.
you see your picture with them. But now they kind of continuously, send you direct messages, and we don't really do a lot of cooking lessons, but it's
Uh-huh.
another venue that we've developed a relationship with our audience. So I think that's very good, and also that
Yes.
we as an industry would come together to help out the farmers. That's one of the greatest things that I've
Mm.
seen now. Rescue buys for the farmers and all those things. So, yeah, those are the things that I like learning about the pandemic. We need to learn more to work with the local produce.
Exactly. And it's
Mm.
all about, sharing. Like what they say, sharing is caring. And I
Yes.
also would like to touch on what you said, Chef Jackie, that you're really taking care of the relationships that you've built during this pandemic, even if it's just virtually. It's all about, asking how is the other person doing, and then, just have
Yes.
that relationship. So what about Chef Sharwin? Oops, you're on mute.
I think
There we go.
positive that I see from this is I've seen a change in attitude from people about
Mm,
cooking itself. Um, I mean that's my goal, right? To get more people cooking at home. And
yeah.
that's why we do the show. That's why we do the books. And what I've noticed is this change in attitude. Like people are more adventurous when they try to cook
Hmm.
at home now. It used to be that when we did certain recipes, could immediately see people turning off, like, that's too difficult. I'm not going to do that. Now you can drop pretty much any recipe and they're going to try it. Like, I have high
Yes.
school classmates that are making sourdough from scratch, right? So I mean, like
Mm,
these guys couldn't even find the kitchen before, and now they're making sourdough. So I love the idea that this is like Chef Jackie said. It's back to basics, right? Let's remove a little bit of the when you remove the going out part, right? You remove the glamour part, and then you're at home. You're like, man, I really miss this kind of food. So you start learning how to make it, and people are now not afraid to fail, right? So I mean, they're especially during the time when they were stuck at home, like they would try to make a dish.
Mhm.
If it fails, they can do it again because they have the time to do it. And still, a
Right.
lot of people are working from home now, so they're making their own food, and that in turn raises their awareness of the ingredients, right? Because now they're cooking
Yes.
by themselves. They're starting to realize, wait, this ingredient is cheaper, but it's not as good. You know, this vegetable is good, but it's not as fresh, or it's very hard to come by because it's imported. So they start looking at local produce. They start checking the internet. There's now apps connecting you directly to farmers,
Mhm.
and they're like, well, this is cheaper, and they deliver to my house. So
Yeah.
now they start getting really nice local produce. So I think it's that change in attitude is very positive. So in the end,
Mhm.
my hope is that we're all going to be eating better by the end of this year.
Oh yes, I also wish that too. I mean, all of us should do that sustainability thing already and just eat more nutritious and healthy food. But Chef Sharwin, can I just say that since you mentioned that we've been doing online shows, I have watched some of your online cooking shows and I was really entertained. You were teaching kimchi pancakes,
Yeah,
and yeah, so I mean, it's really
I
fun
have to say though,
to
I
actually do
feel
that.
more nervous teaching people how to cook over Zoom than I am about cooking itself, right? Like I can cook for
In
100
person,
people
yeah.
and that's fine. But when I have to teach somebody
Uh-huh.
over Zoom and I can't see into the pan, it makes you really, really nervous. But it's fun. It's fun to do that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I'm just curious and intrigued. Like, is it hard? I mean, since you don't see it in actual, so is it really hard to teach people via Zoom?
I think it's not that hard. I think it's just mostly the control freak in us chefs. I mean, I can speak for other chefs, but I'm pretty
Yeah, yeah,
sure
yeah.
we're all very controlling when it comes to, like, you want to make sure that everything is perfect, right? And when you're teaching over Zoom,
Uh-huh.
you physically can't touch the person and say stop doing that, or so
Right, right.
there's this element of trust. Right, when they're chopping something, I'm like, "Oh
Uh-huh.
my god, don't cut your fingers!" Right, so you get a little bit nervous, but
Uh-huh.
at the same
Uh-huh.
time, I think it shows that cooking is really universal. Like if you give effort and
Mhm.
time, you can cook. Like I don't believe when they say they can't cook. It's really just, did you spend enough time to do it? And I think now that we're
Right.
doing this over Zoom, doing this online, you can see that people can really cook if you just give them the chance to.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you for that, Chef Sharwin. And the next question would be, or rather, maybe you can share with us some of restaurant innovations and food trends that you think would continue to evolve and create more opportunities even after this pandemic. So let's start with Chef Josh.
So obviously, as we've all established, eating at home is the in thing to do right now. Cooking at home is also very prominent. So I think
Yeah.
the the ready to eat and the ready to cook line is going to continue far into the future. I don't think we're going to be like pre-pandemic dining, where we were full every night and things like that. I think we have to focus more on
Mhm.
creating dishes that are suited for travel, getting from A to B safely,
Yeah.
and also other dishes that can travel safely A to B, but finished at home by the guests themselves. Like if they join in on a Zoom, like Sharon was saying in the previous segment, we've done this. I mean, we're actually doing one tomorrow where we're sending out 20 packs, a load of packed meals or ready to cook items,
Yeah.
and we will be connected on Zoom, and it'll be a live thing where we're just going to show them how to finish it. And there's enough there for them to do it again the following day or later in that evening, in case they wanted to do it again for their family. And I think this virtual relationship that restaurateurs, chefs have now with the customer, which Chef Jack was saying earlier, that is extremely important to maintain and to hold on to, because now socialization is all virtual. The majority of it is virtual. So creating relationships like that, maintaining them is highly profitable for the restaurants in the near future.
Yes, yes. Thank you for that, Chef Josh.
That was my beauty queen answer. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that. Such a very beautiful answer. Okay. How about Chef Jack?
Well, I think when it comes to food trends, as the word goes, it's a trend. So I don't see a lot of it really lasting. I don't see a lot going gaga about dalgona or sushi bake right now. So I'm actually happy that we just go back to basics, and the infrastructure for getting together, getting your food out from A to B is something that is already established. You've established your logistics. You've established what works, what doesn't. When it comes to takeaway, the delivery apps are already like part of people. The online payment is already like, people have learned, we're forced to learn these new technologies. And I think that's something that we can already, that we will take with us, even if we've achieved herd immunity already. And one thing that I hope for is the organizations that help the market, that help the farmers, will continue. Because we realize right now that we can work with more farmers, we can work together and bring good change, and our collective effort can really help each other. So I hope that since these organizations have already been established, they have followers, we have the buying capacity, I think that will continue, and eventually, even if outside of pandemic, restaurants will consistently buy from the farmers directly through these organizations. So at least it will be, a win-win situation for everyone. And that we will be very open to help each other, that we can actually live with a lot less than what we're used to, and that we have actually a lot and a big opportunity to share with everyone. So I hope that's our takeaway from this, aside from the technology, aside from that, we are one, we are all in the same boat. So when someone sinks, it's our whole boat that will sink. So that's it.
Yes. Another beauty queen answer from Chef Jackie. Yes, the wave. I love it. Okay. Thank you. Go take it away, Chef Sharwit.
I think from the communication side of the food industry, I honestly think the time for like traditional cooking shows is pretty much over. I grew up in that system, right? I've been doing that for the past 10 years, which is like you cook in front of a crew where they have multiple cameras that shoot your food, shoot your face, shoot close-ups, and then they beautify the food and everything. I think that's pretty much going to go on the wayside. Now I think a lot of it is now very much more simple. When I was starting as a cooking show host, I had to train so that I would speak continually without making mistakes and without giving away.
And that's hard.
And that's hard, right? But now I think you can actually do a cooking vlog, say something wrong, say, oops, I'm sorry, that was wrong. And that's not going to be taken away from the video, right? So I think the video format has changed. Now, I think majority of people get their cooking recipes from TikTok, right? It's 1 minute recipes, fully edited, very simply shot, maybe one ring light at the most, and a phone camera, right? So I think that's the future of food on media now. It's less on the perfect side, more on the accessibility side.
Yes,
So
and
there's
the
not much
execution.
concern now about perfection, about lighting the food properly.
Mm,
I think more now it's people are like, hey, I want to see this because I think I can do this at home. So I
mhm.
think
Yes.
that's where food in media is gonna go in the future.
Yeah, so speaking about, how food media is in the future, so do you think there is so much untapped potential virtually for your industry? And what sort of balance would you suggest to give space for both virtual experiences as well as the in-person hospitality? So go Chef Josh.
Yep. So I think I touched base a little bit on the previous comment on the last question. I think the way forward is going to be not 100% virtual, but it's going to consume quite a large amount of our business is going to be transferred into a virtual realm.
Yes.
I my restaurants were really designed to be face to face. Explaining the dishes, creating the overall experience with guests. And I am going to be adamant and say that I will personally position myself for the future with that in mind, assuming that herd immunity is going to happen within X amount of months, years, who knows. But I won't transition my restaurants into virtual spaces. I won't create cloud kitchen operations as of now, because I feel like I still want to hold on to something dear that I absolutely love, and that is interacting with guests. And yeah, it's probably more of a pride thing, but I don't want to let go of it. But we are, of course, dedicating a certain percentage to virtual. Because I think anyone can see, no matter what line of business you're in or what type of cuisine that anyone's cooking. It's so easy now just to log on to a third-party app and order something for dinner, and within 30 minutes it's on your doorstep. If we didn't do that as a restaurant, if we didn't have that outlet where guests have the ease of use of the app and getting the food at the same time, I don't think we'd be where we are right now. So we have to give a lot of praise to those third-party apps, because they've been able to
Yes.
assist us in getting a greater customer basis. So yeah, I mean, I just want to talk to people again. Personally, I mean, I'm probably missing that interaction a lot, because
Yes.
even with a mask on, and just talking to the guests. Yes, we do. I mean, we have parties out here in the alfresco area of no, not parties, I'm sorry, that's not allowed, the rules don't say that. We have I slipped up, Shelwyn. That's what you're saying about these YouTube videos that make mistakes, right? It's not parties, but we have guests that come out and they have dinner, and it's so nice to go and talk to them and explain the dishes. And I go home at night after doing that, and I go home refreshed, because otherwise we're stuck in the kitchen in the back. Even though it's an open kitchen, we don't see people. We're focused on what we're cooking. It goes to a takeout container and it goes out. There is zero interaction.
Yes.
So I hope that we will reach herd immunity soon, so we can resume a level of normality, not like before, of course, because we still have to take precautions, but some level of normality, just to feel normal again, would be lovely. So yeah, I'm waiting for it.
Yes, and we're all waiting and hoping for that. Thank you, Chef Josh. Very beautiful answer right there. So, what about Chef Jackie?
Yeah, just like what Josh said, I really miss interacting, and the events. Our first food business was catering, and I really, really, really miss being part of special occasions, their weddings. After that, the baptism of their kids' children's parties, their parents' parties. It really is different when you're in front of them, when the noise, the lights, the crowd, because that's the
Everything.
energy. Yeah, the energy of the whole thing, the fanfare, the corporate events with all the
Yes.
entertainment. It's really different. It's something that I sorely miss. And But of course, I think what this pandemic has taught us to do is to explore other things, get out of our comfort zone, and all those things. And we will get back to the playing field stronger. We will be back there with more learnings. And even for the restaurateurs or those in the food industry who have lost everything, always remember it's not like starting from zero. You are going back with that experience already. So it's not, it's not like
Yes.
starting from zero like when you started. So sometimes I would hear people na, nagawa ko to, tinayo ko when I was in my 20s, when I was young. I don't know if I have the energy to go back and open restaurants again and start this from scratch. And I just tell them, you're not starting from scratch. You're starting from a whole place of experience, and that will make it faster. That will make you stronger.
Yes.
And even if you lost everything, if everything you didn't lose the experience and the learnings, and it's definitely something that's very valuable, more valuable than the energy of youth that you had before when you started it.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, Chef Jackie. We love it. Go, Chef Charlotte.
Yeah, I think that no matter how advanced we become, the food industry can't be 100% virtual because it defeats the purpose. I think that food has always been the biggest proponent of bringing people together. So sooner or later, it can't be virtual all the time. People have to be together to enjoy food. And even in food media, it's the same. Like now we're making do. We're creating content at home, right? But sooner or later, we're going to
Yes.
have to go out because we need to learn again. And the only way you can learn
Yes.
is really to visit other people, to see other cultures, to talk, hear about their history. And so, at a certain point, you're going to stop learning. And then so you're going to have to go out again to learn some more.
Yes.
So it can't be. I have to say, if you're looking for a percentage, it's still about 60-40, 70-30, like more on eating out, right? On being with other people. And I think the 30 is more virtual, like with deliveries, online orders,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and things like that. But I think sooner or later, we have to go back to interacting with one another because that's the entire purpose of food.
Yes, please. We need that. Humans are societal creatures. We need to interact with each other face to face already. But yeah, we're all hoping and wishing for that to come sooner. But
Yeah.
to our three phenomenal chefs that we have here, we've come to the part of the show that we're going to be giving you a challenge. And of course, to lighten our conversation a bit. So, as the challenge says, I have here six numbers, and these six numbers they have corresponding names and personalities behind it. So, all you have to do is to choose from numbers 1 to 6, and then I'll let you know the person that you chose. And the challenge is for you to give us special chef dishes. And yeah, we would like to know how you are going to perceive these personalities. So, okay, are you
Wait,
guys
wait, wait,
ready?
wait. No, I'm not ready. Wait,
Oh my.
I don't watch TV. Okay, so I'm a bit nervous about this. So Jack and Charlotte's probably have to go first, and I might have to skip this one. We'll see how it goes. Okay, I can pick a number. I'm good at
Okay.
Okay, okay. Chef Sharwin can explain these personalities to you. just, just kidding. So
Let's see
okay,
how many I
choose
have.
the numbers of 1 to 6. So okay, let's start with who wants to go first with this challenge? Oh, Chef Jackie,
Uh,
you want to take it away?
I guess I should.
Okay.
I
Chef
guess I should
Jackie.
go first.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, okay. Go, Chef Sherwin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Say 3.
What number?
3.
Okay, 3 goes to dun, 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 Tulpa Brothers.
Who?
Tulpa Brothers.
Oh,
So I have to
Okay.
figure out what to cook for them.
Who is it? I'm
Wow,
sorry.
based on your perception. Chef Josh, do you know Tulpa Brothers?
No.
This is the part in the show where I accidentally log out.
Oh my god.
Well,
Too bad.
Tulfo Brothers.
God.
Okay. I think
That's a hard one.
they made their name by fighting for the common man. So they would probably enjoy something that the common man would. So I think that it would be nice to have some pares. Garlic rice and pares would be perfect because honestly, that's what I want. When I'm tired and it's the middle of the night, that's probably what I'm gonna look for, and they're probably gonna look for the same thing.
Yes, yes. Nice one. Nice answer, Chef Charwin. Okay, who wants to go next? Chef Josh is scratching his head. Go, Chef. Go, Chef Jackie.
number 5.
Okay, 5 goes to dun, 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 Ramon Ang. Ooh.
It's actually
Okay.
in a restaurant.
I know that one. I wish I
Ramon
had that
and-
one.
Yeah.
What could be the dish?
Pure foods,
Oh.
hot dogs,
No.
and beer.
I think I'll just serve him a very Filipino dish that's not so sinful as well. So maybe pancit molo and chicken inasal, and of course some beer, San Miguel beer.
Yum! Simple yet very yummy. We love that, and
Yeah.
he will really appreciate that. Yes. Thank you, Chef. What about dessert? Because you are a baker, so let's add a little bit of dessert.
Okay, so I make this one of my one of the favorites in our catering and in our restaurants is the chocolate o, and it has a peanut butter mousse. It's made from tablea chocolate, so yeah, it's a rich concoction. It's just baked in a teapot, so yeah, it's rich, but it's just small. Yeah.
Now I want it. Thanks, Chef Jackie. Okay, let's go, Chef Josh.
Okay, so I've put some thought behind this. So whoever's writing
Okay.
these names, they started off with people, and then they probably got to number 4 and number 5, and then number 6, and thought, who else could we put? So then they just started putting. So I'm going with number 6.
No.
I
Okay.
don't. No. Wait. I'm having second thoughts now. Jack just said no.
No.
Maybe I should go.
No.
Maybe I should go number
Okay,
1.
you can change your
Yeah, go
mind,
for
but
one.
yeah, go.
Come on,
go for
Charlie, what do you
one.
think, man? 1 or 6?
I say 6. Let's go for gusto.
We'll go 6 then. Let's go number. No, look, Jamie's going
Oh
1.
man,
Now it's confusing.
Yeah,
Go for one.
I'll go for 1. Go on then. I'll go for 1.
Okay,
Let's go for
okay,
one.
okay. One.
I'm easily
Okay,
persuaded
are
by
you ready? For number 1, we have Rabia Mateo.
I have no idea who that is.
Oh my
Oh, wait. I'm gonna Google in a second, but can I know who number 6 is?
6 is Barreto Sisters.
No idea. What about number 5? Number 4? Okay, I'm gonna
My
Google this.
goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, guys.
Okay. Wait,
Chef
Darwin,
Josh
can you
is
help me out here?
literally-
Who is this number 1? No, you're on mute again.
Rabia Mateo.
Okay, 2
Miss
seconds.
Philippines Universe, Miss Universe Philippines.
Oh shit. Okay. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Obviously, and I've already given my pageant answer. Okay, now I know. All right. Well, she's from Iloilo, right? I read about
Yes,
that,
yes.
and there was some type of controversy about that. Now, already, Pancit Molo's already gone to Ramon Ang and also in a cell, which is great along with dishes. So thanks, Jack. I don't know what to do now. So I would say we'll just get a table with Ramon and let Jack cook. Let her join the table with Ramon Ang. Be perfect. There's
Yeah, we can converse in
my
Ilonggo.
right?
I'm from there.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Now I know
okay.
who she is. All right. Great.
Oh,
Moving forward,
okay.
let's leave this segment before I get even more embarrassed. I mean, literally, that's the only name I saw on social media for the past week. And my family watched Miss Universe. So yeah, let's go to the next section. Where's the producer? Move over. Let's go. Come on.
But wait a minute. We got 2 rounds of this challenge part.
Okay.
So yeah.
We know what number 6 is now, guys, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
okay, given that you guys know the number, who is willing to take that? Who's willing to cook for the Barreto sisters
I'm gonna
and
do
share
that.
with us? Okay. Chef Sharwin and Chef Jackie. Because we have, 2 personalities
I'd be
left
too
here,
scared,
but who
I
wants to
think.
take it? Hmm? No.
Yeah, the first thing that just came up on my phone is the guide to the Barreto battles. I mean, is that
Right,
what you're
so I'd be too
referencing?
nervous.
Oh my
to
God,
actually do this.
battle. Oh
Okay.
my goodness. So,
you know what I would
looks
do?
like
Can I
Chef-
answer? Can I just get mine out of the way for this one right here?
Okay.
Yeah, and then
Oh.
Sharwin and Chef Jack can just choose the other 2 numbers. To be honest, from what I'm reading right now on my Google feed, I would just do one dish and let them fight over it. So just have a room with no doors, 1 plate of food, good enough for 1 person. And how many sisters are there? I haven't got that far, but how many sisters are there? I think
Barreto
there's maybe
sisters are
3 sisters.
3 or 4. Am I
3 or
right?
4
3? Yeah,
sisters.
I think yeah.
Three,
Three
yeah.
sisters.
But yeah, just 1 plate and let them fight over it.
Mhm. But okay, 1 plate.
Of what?
You should have your specialty.
Oh,
yeah,
what?
plate of what?
Okay, so it would really help to know who these people are. But soup with chopsticks to make it even more challenging.
Okay. All right. So they have their armors there.
Yeah, could do.
Okay.
To give a more
So
serious answer, I think for me, food has to touch somebody's heart. I mean, it has to touch the soul. It has to be something that can replenish not just sustenance, but also replenish a forgotten memory or touch something more than what is actually physical. So it's a mental or emotional thing that it has to touch. Now,
yes.
joking aside, now whoever it may be that these people are, if we could create a dish based on their past experiences or their personalities, I think the secret is there. So I feel like us as chefs, we are very versatile people. So if somebody asks us to cook something, it's not going to be too much of a challenge to do that. But the challenge is to make sure that it touches the right emotional spot versus the sustenance spot. So if to know more about these people would be great, so that we could perhaps find any inklings that would help us create this dish that would really touch that emotional spot that food warrants. So that's
Wow.
my second beauty queen answer.
Oh yes.
I'm muting now.
We love it. Thanks, Chef Josh. Now, okay, for Chef Jackie and Chef Sharwin, we got 2 last names here. We got 2 and 4. So who wants to go first? And
I'll
choose
take
the numbers 2 and 4. Okay, go Chef Sharwin. For 2, it's VP Lenny Robredo. Yes.
Well,
Or-
that's pretty easy because I already did that. And
Wow.
it's obviously she's very proud of her province. So definitely something from Bicol. You know, I would probably make a version of laing. Laing is one of my favorite Bicolano dishes. I once did a dish where I made lasagna and then filled it with laing, and then topped it with
Wow.
cheese. So I think she'll like that.
Sounds really good. What about Chef Jackie? We only got one number left. That's number 4. And it goes to Leia Salonga.
Oh,
It's Leia Salonga. Again, Chef Josh doesn't know.
She did the Disney songs, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
Miss
There we go.
Saigon.
I'm not a complete mess, guys. I do know. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Wait.
Okay. Go, Chef
It's
Jackie.
it's it's pressure, you know. Leia Salonga is like one of the few people where when I went up to her, I couldn't speak. I was so nervous. So I can't
Totally
imagine
agree.
cooking for her.
I think I'll do something like always, Filipino.
Mm-hmm.
If she likes kare kare, I'd have her get a try because our philosophy in cooking is we don't use MSG. We make everything from scratch. You know,
Right.
so we always joke that this is the longest kare kare to make. So I
Yes,
think that's
yes.
something she would appreciate, and it can be. But even the bagoong we make in house, we ferment it ourselves, and we don't use peanut butter.
Nice.
And we don't use peanut butter. It's toasted nuts, which we grind in house, and maybe if it's seafood or if it's beef, or we make all the stock from scratch with none of those instant
Yes.
powder stock bases. So I think that would be something that she would appreciate because she's someone who works hard and
Yes.
works hard at
Totally.
her craft. I think the work behind it would be something that she'll like. So
Yes, yes, that's true. And made with tender love and care. So she will really do
Yes.
appreciate that. Thanks, Chef Jackie. And of course, that was a totally fun part of this segment. Thank you for that, chefs. And for our viewers who are watching, please continue watching us on Kumu, that is at TVC, also on Facebook at TVC Plus, and also at Grindback TV. And hey, you're also live on our YouTube channel, that is the Boulder channel. So we will be right back after this short break. All right, and we are back once again here at Grindy Talk Season 2. And of course, with regard to promoting your profession. So the question here is, what are your thoughts for the future of the chef career after COVID-19? The future of the chef career. Go, Chef Josh.
So I think, or I believe, I touch base on the teachings of COVID, or the teachings of the pandemic have created for our industry. It's I feel like the rest of the world is having a lot more challenging times with staff at the moment, because like the UK, for example, a lot of restaurants are struggling to get people back into the restaurants. They just opened a couple of days ago for dine-in again, partly because a lot of the ex staff saw the amount that they were working and the pay that they were getting, and there was no personal time or anything else like that. It is a very challenging industry. Now, for any future chef, they have to understand, our industry is not about just getting a paycheck at the end of the month. You have to absolutely love what you're doing. It's a matter of putting your heart and soul into it rather than wait for that paycheck at the end of the month. So these are learnings that a school is not going to give anybody. This is things that is going to be personality driven. It's what is going to make the chef of tomorrow survive in the industry from now on forward. As Jackie said, it cleansed a lot in our industry, this pandemic, and I feel it's done better for our industry because those who are still wanting to work are those who are really dedicated to the craft. But those who are going through college now, they have the option: change course or stay on course. If you're going to stay on course, you have to persist. And the mentality is not about just your paycheck at the end of the month. Your mentality is this is a life. This is your life from now on. This is 18 hours a day. It's sleepless nights. It's waking up early. It's working until you have blisters on your feet and your fingers. It's not for everyone. And those who are in college now have the chance to change course. Their parents might not be happy, or they might be very happy. But, it's going to take a lot of perseverance for the cook tomorrow to really succeed again.
Yes. Thank you so much for that, Chef Josh. Let's proceed to Chef Jackie.
Okay. So I think being a chef, or at least in this industry, it has really widened, and there are a lot of channels that you can focus on. And I'm not discounting or saying that one channel is lesser than the others, but I think it gives us a choice. If you love food, you're passionate about food, there's one way for you to do it: be a restaurateur, a chef, and just commit. Understand that being a chef is not something that you do to escape academics, because you need science, you need math, you need communication skills, you need all these things, and you need perseverance, integrity, and all those things that sometimes you hate about school. Because I get a lot of DMs from young kids. Mahirap po ba maging chef? Kasi hirap na hirap ako. Marami po bang math? All those things. It's not an escape from academics. I don't think you can go further than a line cook in a restaurant if you don't know math, because you need to cost, you need to appreciate and know science. You need to communicate if you are going to be a leader. But there are also
Oops. Did we just... Okay.
I would
So I
just,
think
if there are any young viewers in this audience right now, I am actually an undergrad. I didn't graduate actually. I didn't actually even go to culinary school, and I don't mean to cast shade on Jack right now, because she does have a very valid point. So I didn't study culinary, but I now own 3 restaurants and I take care of 120 of them. Nothing is impossible as long as you put your mind to it. You can learn as you go along, which is what I've done. So any young person out there who hasn't finished college or hasn't even finished high school, it's nothing. Work hard, learn as you go, and stay on course, because great things do happen to those who concentrate. I promise you, I really do.
Yes. That's true. Thank you for that, Chef Josh. It's all about grit and perseverance, and just really focusing on what you want in life. So now that we've lost Chef Jackie, we will now proceed to Chef Sharwin. Oh, and Chef Jackie is back.
So do we want to go with Jackie first?
Let's check if her internet is okay.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
So to continue.
So there are different channels in the industry, and if you are not willing to take part, you can be in the media part. We see a lot of very successful people just cooking a dish a day, putting it on camera and coming up with recipes. So if your passion is cooking, you can do that as well. You can concentrate on being in front of the camera, but to be a chef in a restaurant and be a restaurateur, I think you have to understand that it's not an escape from academics. It's not an escape from hard work. It's not a glamorous career to choose. You might sometimes see us in nice lighted pictures and all that things, but that is not what we're here for. At least what I'm not here for that. It's about cooking. It's about sharing your passion.
I literally was driving past a van today, and you and your husband's face was on it.
What's that?
Yeah.
One of the product parts. Hi. Of course, there are things that you partner up with clients. You don't know that you're saying yes. I've never endorsed any of the magic mixes and the powders and the such because of my food principle. The partnerships that I collaborated with, you don't know that you're going to end up in a billboard, in a magazine cover or something, but it's something that you don't go for, but it's more of the work and the cooking and the burns. Well, I have burns all over.
Yes.
That, people offer to take it out, but I don't. I think it's just I'm gonna have more next week or tomorrow. So why bother? So it's not an escape from academics and hard work. So basically, that's just what I want to tell them, and they can pursue other challenges. They don't have to spend their parents' money on an expensive culinary education if they're not up to it. If they're not up to standing and getting burned and getting complaints or all those things.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Thank you, Chef Jackie. Such a nice answer. Okay, Chef Sherwin.
Yeah, I think my answer is contained in my book. So you want to be a chef? That's available on Shopee and
Yes, nice one.
But,
yes,
but seriously speaking, I wrote that book because I feel like our food industry is, going to just get bigger as the future comes. When we started in the food industry, your only options were either to open your own restaurant or to work at a hotel. Now, if you're gonna work in the food industry, there's so much more to do. You can write about it. You can be a food media influencer. You can be a content creator. You can do pop-ups like I do. So the industry, I think, will grow. No, even after the pandemic, because like Chef Jackie said before, everyone has to eat. So I think in that sense, this is a great industry to get into because the opportunities are going to be there. Now, the only problem is, of course, it's a difficult industry. That's what I wrote in my book. Is that this is a very, very difficult industry, and it pays very little too, unless you get very lucky, right? So once you do your hard work, it's going to take some time before you get your financial rewards. But if you do love food, there's really no way to escape it. If you love food, you can list down as many reasons as you want not to get into the food industry. But if you have a sincere love for food, you will find a way to work hard and be in this industry. So for me, I think I just want to echo what both chefs said. Two things. One is you have to love this industry. Otherwise, it's going to eat you up in like 2 months. And the other is you have to put in the hard work, because I've never known a chef who succeeded after 1 year of hard work. That just never happens. It has to be 5, 6, 7, 8 years before you can even see some kind of grand success. So yeah, I think the future of the industry is great. It's going to be great. It's just a matter of, if you want to get in, there's going to be a lot of work that you have to put in.
Mm-hmm. And also to add to that, consistency is the key for you to be able to succeed in this business. And yeah, before we proceed to our last question, Grindy Talk Season 2 is supported by Workful Collaborative Workspaces and Hospitality Innovators for sponsorships and collaborations. And if you want us to feature your brands, your company, and your project, please do drop us an email at onetbcchannel@gmail.com. And also, while you're at it, please do follow our socials. We have at Right Back TV, also at TBC Plus and the Boulder channel. Okay, chefs, thank you so much for sharing your time with us, your insights, knowledge. We totally had the blast today, and I hope you guys had fun as well. And as we end this episode, what is your message to your colleagues, to the other chefs, as well as to all the diners out there? And while you're at it as well, please do invite our viewers to your restaurants, online projects, and social media platforms. Go, Chef Josh.
Yeah. So, yeah. Last message, right? I was listening, and now I've just forgotten again. I had something in my mind again. Wait a second, 2 seconds. I'm going to reread this. Okay. Yeah. So a message. So obviously, as Jackie said prior to earlier in the show, we're in the same boat. For my friends in the industry, to those who I don't even know that are in our industry, and you may feel like we're in a very dark tunnel at the moment. But rest assured, without a doubt, there's always going to be a light at the end of the tunnel. There's always going to be a silver lining to a dark cloud. We just have to persevere and stay focused, innovate as much as possible. We innovate how the pandemic dictates, and the regulations change. That dictates how we innovate as well. So stay strong, And to the viewers and to the general public, I wish you all, stay safe. Please practice, the social distancing. You're washing your hands, wear your mask. I don't believe in the face shield, so I'm not going to recommend that, but other people will say so we'll leave that out of it. But at least wear a mask, please. Sanitize your hands regularly, because the sooner that we get out of this mess, the sooner we can resume a level of normality. And of course, when it comes to the vaccine, take this bloody vaccine. I mean, it's gone through trials. Yes. Don't be an anti-vaxxer, okay? Do it. I haven't done it yet. A4 has just come online, so we're going to be going. The team is going to be signing up already for it. But this is all going to help us. This is going to help the industry. It's going to help multiple other industries. We work to the future right now, guys. And to my lovely chefs who have joined me, it's a pleasure to see you virtually. I wish we could all get together again over dinner or something. But we can wait for that. We've been in this for a year and a half. We can go a little bit longer, guys. So thank you very much, everyone. And Godspeed. And I'm supposed to invite you all to my restaurant. The only restaurant is the test kitchen that's open at the moment, both al fresco, and we also have the 20% dine-in. Savage will be opening very, very soon, but unfortunately, Helm still has to stay closed as we don't have al fresco dining. So thank you very much. Jamie, it's been a pleasure. I'll send the mic down to Chef
Thank
Jack.
you. Yes. Thanks, Chef Josh. Go, Chef Jackie.
Okay. So I just want to tell everyone to cooperate, with the regulation. Maybe we don't agree with it or whatever. Let's get vaccinated so we can, the faster we get to open the economy. I got my first jab already because, I just updated my health monitor. I just updated my health monitor. I didn't exactly know that my sinusitis that got me hospitalized would qualify. So stop trolling people. I got trolls of how I got vaccinated ahead of everybody. I just said I got a call, and so I took it. I didn't lie about anything. So just cooperate. Just go through the different channels on what on what your local government offers, and practice social distancing, even if you're vaccinated already, and always just keep a positive outlook. Try to deal with it. No matter, I've never exercised as much as I do now because of the anxiety attacks that I would get. So I tried with yoga.
Yes.
I started with yoga now. Just
Yeah,
do
that's
what you
cute. Yeah.
can to deal with the pandemic. Take care of your mental health. We have a bike now and
Yes.
a rowing machine. I do more exercise than before, just so I can deal with it because it's really like toying with your mental health. And just
Mhm.
support each other and stay positive. Don't always come from a point of view of love and positivity. Don't be coming from a point of criticizing and fighting with others because that's just unhealthy. So that's it.
Yes, I totally agree with that. Perfect. Thank you. And last, we got Chef Sharwit.
Yeah, just I just want to echo that with the safest vaccine is the one that's available. And so, if you get your chance, when you get your chance, do sign up to get the vaccine. And yes, it's a little bit challenging to eat out if you're not vaccinated. But I would suggest that if you to support the restaurants that you love by ordering take out. Or take buying their ready to cook, ready to eat meals. That's really the one way you can keep your favorite restaurants open. And then
Yes.
yeah, and then just generally, just believe in science. I think that's really the
Hmm.
most important thing right now. Of course, there are fears, right? There are many fears. So I think we should respond with science. If you're not sure, you can do your research. You can ask your doctor. Before you make any big decisions. In the meantime,
Right,
if
right.
you are working from home or you're staying at home, then I suggest that you buy my new book called The Gospel of Food. Um, this is available now in
Nice.
Shopee and anvilpublishing.com. So we can't travel yet, right? So this book is all about the stories I picked up eating food around the world. So, if you can't travel yet, travel with me through this book.
Yes. Nice, perfect. So, guys, check that out. And thank you so much for your lovely answers again. Thank you very much, Chef Josh Boutwood,
Thank
Corporate
you.
Executive Chef at Bistro Group, and Chef Jackie Laudico, Executive Pastry Chef and co owner of Guevara's, and Chef Sharwin T, TV host, columnist, and author. And before we leave, we would just like to remind our viewers tonight at the Boulder channel, join Architect Patch as she talks about interior design trends on Curve TV Bold Talks at 7:30 p.m. And tomorrow, Thursday, we have iConnect at 5 p.m. and Bliss Out and About at 7:30 p.m. So, guys, see you again next Wednesday here at Brandy Talk Season 2 live at 5 p.m. I am Jamie G, and you just watched another amazing, inspiring, and insightful episode of Brandy Talk Season 2. Don't forget to stay hungry and keep grinding. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you.